Hey, everybody. Welcome to Comic Book Curation. I'm Polly, and joining me, as always, is Inquisitor Quiz. How are you doing? Is your channel still working?
Yeah, I think so.
You haven't had any videos taken down, or
not that I've been told about. I haven't checked, but
you should check through your catalog because lots of channels are missing videos today. Lots of channels are missing the channel. And rounding out our triumvirate of awesome, as always, is Jack from Bad Comic Reviews. Link in the description if it actually still takes you to somewhere, if his channel hasn't taken down. Jack, how are you doing?
I'm alive. How are you doing?
I'm trying to keep up with all the See, people are calling it VoxAdpocalypse. I think they should just call it VoxAlypse.
The VoxAlypse?
Yeah, rolls off the tongue easier.
Yeah, but it does sound like a sexual part of a dinosaur.
The Stegosaurus inserted into the Vocalypse?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Velocilypse? that would make it a little bit more.
I don't know. It's
all be a little bit more coherent.
Well, in any case, yeah, there's lots of doings that transpiring all day long. Okay. Yeah, the question is where to start this week today. The thumbnail. Let's start with the thumbnail. God damn it! This is what we always do.
Yeah.
For those of you who haven't seen it over on Twitter, there's our thumbnail for this week. Can anyone name that character for me?
No.
That is Darth.
Nice.
Thorn.
Yeah. Talon, actually.
Talon. I was close.
Darth Thorn Talon.
Darth Thorn Talon.
I knew that because you said it yesterday.
I forgot about that. Yeah. I did, didn't I? Yeah, if you were there for Monkey in the Morning, I previewed this thumbnail last night, along with the joke one. Yeah, Quiz, what do you find so funny about this character? You don't think she's sexy in her own inimitable way?
It's not that. I'm just like, you asked me a question about Star Wars.
I don't know. I find in your many travels and nerddom that you might have come across this character.
No.
Brown coat Boaz is Darth Thotis.
I've done everything in my power to remain separated from the Star Wars extended universe or whatever.
Yeah, this is absolutely extended universe character. I think she was in the 3D anime series, whichever one that was, Rebels or Defiance or Resistance or Cash Grab, whatever. I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah. Disney money.
There is a shocking amount of Rule 34 related to this character. She is nude and penetrated all over the internet, man. Holy fun.
Look at her.
Well, yeah. She's not exactly bashful with her costume presentation, is she?
No, and she's clearly a very naughty girl.
Yeah. Well, she's a Sith, so it makes sense, you see.
Yeah.
And in addition to the Rule 34 art, there are also a lot of women cosplaying this character who shouldn't be cosplaying this character.
Aren't there always?
Or your midriff if you're a muffin top. Is that so much to ask?
No.
No.
Now, I tried connecting this to the larger story that we want to talk about today with Vox and Carlos. The internet hurt my feelings, therefore I need to tear the whole thing down, Mesa. And
is that what this is about?
Yeah.
What?
Because like
you didn't know. Okay, man, sit back, strap in, buckle up,
yeah.
Get some popcorn because you're gonna find out some shit.
Okay.
This one's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I got tweets and stuff. It won't just be an anecdote. But as for the development of the story, I'm sure everybody's heard it, but we're going to do it rapid fire. And I'm sitting there thinking, I use this image because we hadn't done anything Star Wars for a thumbnail. I mean, up until now, and I thought I'm going to do something Star Wars, and all I got was a bunch of Rule 34 Slave Leia, and I was like, well, let's keep looking. And then I remembered Zelthor had told me about Darth I just about called her Darth Claw. Darth Talon here.
Yeah, I can hear her now. Gadget.
Gadget.
That's not a bad Dr. Claw.
Yeah. That's right.
And I was like, oh yeah, let me go find her. This is actually a really good piece of art that somebody did. This is a whatever the hell sideshow model or whatever that they took and added highlights to every one of her tattooed areas and made it look like she's 3D, like it was a piece of art. It's actually a photograph of one of the models that's then been digitally messed with. They did a pretty good job, I thought. So anyway, I'm thinking like, how am I going to connect this? And I'm like, okay, she's a metaphor she's a dark, evil, yet sexy Sith Lord. It's like YouTube. They're attractive, yet demonic and want to take you down.
What?
Does that work?
No.
Does that connect? No? Shit. I was trying, man. I don't know. What are you going to do for what sexy comic book or fantasy character are you going to connect to the VoxAdpocalypse?
Well, she is a Sith, so
right.
You can't trust a Sith. And you know who else you can't trust? Journalists.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like sexy and alluring. It draws you in, but yet wants to cut you in half, you know.
Take half your stuff, take the house, never let you see your kids.
No, that's divorce.
I know this chick.
Yeah, see, Mike Parletts is a succubus. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
YouTube is like a succubus. I mean, lots of people that we know. Sinatra got kicked right out of the Partners program. If any of you follow Sinatra Says, yeah, his channels are done for ads, and if you're out of the Partners program, then I'm pretty damn sure that also means done for super chats as well. Keeping in mind, he boasts 145,000 subs, man. Not a small channel. Fucking hell. So what I'll give you guys a choice. What do you want to hear? The relatively short Star Wars story that actually relates to that thumbnail? Or should we get right into the VoxAdpocalypse?
Well, we should probably talk about the related story, since otherwise it'd be weird to circle back around to it.
Well, yeah, but that would denote that we've got some kind of organization here, which we clearly don't. Well, that's okay. Meta Winter says, probably like the Sith, only journos deal in absolutes.
That's true.
Yeah, it's unfortunately.
James Colley says, you can't trust Polydub either. He never starts when he says he is. Hey, let me tell you something. Abusing Jack before the stream starts takes time, and I won't rush it.
He
won't learn his lesson any other way.
That's right.
It's true.
Loud and nasty. It's the only way it sticks. Okay.
It's always me.
Admiral Akbar actor Tim Rose details humiliation on the set of Disney's Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Say that shit 5 times fast. Admiral Akbar Jesus. Anyway, the treatment of actors from the original Star Wars trilogy in the new set of movies has created a major rift within the fandom. Really? Major? Okay. Most recently, Admiral Akbar actor, Tim Rose detailed how he was humiliated on the set of The Last Jedi, being asked to dress up like a giant bug-eyed mudfish. I added that part in. I didn't really say that. On the final day of shooting by director Rian Johnson, Admiral Akbar, the Mon Calamari.
I know that. Mon Calamari is the name of the race.
I didn't know that. That's serious?
Yeah.
He looks like seafood and his name is Calamari?
Yes.
Oh, fucking hell. George, man.
Mm-hmm.
Christ. Anyway.
And you thought Therm Scissor Punch was stupid.
No, well, I was okay. I thought you were about to blame Therm Scissor Punch on George, but no, that's not his fault. But
no.
No, I still think Therm's scissor punch. His hands are big claws, for Christ's sake.
That's the scissor punch, isn't it?
Well, yeah, obviously, but a little too obviously is what I'm
He
saying.
probably gets to yell "scissor punch" when he hits somebody too.
Yeah. All right. The treatment of actors. Oh no, wait a minute. Admiral Akbar, the Mon calamari with a side of tartar sauce, who made his first appearance in The Return of the Jedi, has been a major piece of the Star Wars universe for years, especially in the eyes of fans. It's a trap! His story was especially fleshed out in the animated series Star Wars: The Clone Wars, as he served as a captain in the Mon Calamari Royal Guard. He would be instrumental in quelling the separatist takeover of Mon Cala. Many were excited to see the character return for The Force Awakens and its sequel, The Last Jedi. However, fans were quickly let down by Admiral Akbar's death in The Last Jedi. Spoilers. He is killed when First Order forces led by Kylo Ren launch an attack on the Resistance flagship. Admiral Akbar is killed when Kylo Ren attacks the bridge. A number of fans, including Akbar's puppeteer Timothy D. Rose, were less than pleased. Wait a minute, there isn't even a dude in there? That's just a fucking animatronic thing?
There's probably a guy in it for certain scenes, but not in every scene.
Oh.
Because you got to make the eyes move and all that.
Yeah. Rose spoke with YouTuber Jamie Strangroom about how he reacted to the Akbar role in sequel trilogy. Was this translated from Cantonese?
Yeah,
How he react to Akbar role. Okay, quote, after waiting 30 years to reprise Akbar, I was a little disappointed with Akbar's role in that picture. So in The Last Jedi, I was quite looking forward to maybe giving them something more juicy. Juicy calamari.
Well, if you want juicy, I suggest you follow what Ryan Walters just said. Can we get a humanoid turkey species in Star Wars? I want to hear gobble, gobble, gobble when the ship blows up.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
He then reveals how he figured out Akbar died. And I looked at my script and went, oh, Akbar's going out the window. Well, that's that then. Vacuum sealed calamari. Okay. Rose will then detail how he was brought to tears when Akbar's final moments were turned into a joke on the set. Quote, we finished all of our bits and they asked me to come down to camera. And I thought, oh, well, maybe they're going to say thank you for being one of the heritage character and giving 30 years and all that. But what they did was they gave me a Millennium Falcon sign that had the day and the date on it, the scene number. And they said, can you look at the camera and say it's a wrap? Because that would be really funny.
Wow, that's pretty rude.
That's kind of a dick move.
He continued, I was actually in tears in the soup because I thought, after everything, after hoping there'd be something, after knowing there wasn't going to be anything else, Akbar's final moment before he went into the box was just a big joke about it's a wrap. They thought, wouldn't it be funny? And that was the sum total of my life as Akbar. He then noted, I disappeared down the back and couldn't come out for a good 30 minutes after that, he adds. They took over a little bit of your lives, he concludes. They become part of us and we part of them. And then one Twitter user described how he viewed Rose's reaction. He thought he'd be treated with dignity and respect, but his expectations were subverted. That's what Ryan Johnson
does. Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought he got ripped off because I always liked him because it's a trap. How many times do people use that? And to kind of just throw the character away like that was pretty insulting.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see the way that Ryan Johnson talks on Twitter and acts to other people and the way he clearly acts on set, and this isn't obviously the first story, people that believe that they've got like a force field around them, that they're well protected, well connected, tend to act like, they know they can get away with whatever. And Ryan Johnson knows he's Kathleen Kennedy's boy. Like that's her guy right there. Hand chosen and yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Of course, ma'am. Whatever you want, ma'am. How many inches, ma'am? Like, that's why he's there. And so I don't know. I'm guessing here, but it makes me think that that's one of the reasons why he's willing to carry on like this. So it's like, well, what are they going to do? Fire me? There's no sense of that I need to do one thing or another other than please Kathleen Kennedy. As long as it doesn't piss her off, I'm golden.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Still, it's the disrespect you show to the actors and the characters really does carry over. People remember that for a long time.
Yeah. Well, what is, and it's not like that's guesswork. I mean, she not only hired Ryan Johnson, but then hired him to write, direct the entire film. And it's like, holy fuck, really? This guy? That's a hell of a lot of faith to put in one of your tentpole projects. Motherfucking international mega conglomerate Disney. You know, for one guy. Why? Because Kathleen Kennedy knew that she could trust him. And in every interview, when she talks about the guy, we could really get along. We spoke the same language. Translation. I said jump. He was in mid-jump before asking how high, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she got her contract renewed to not disrupt their negotiations to purchase Sony. Or not Sony, Fox. You know. So no disruptions there. We don't want to make it look like we're shifting around Lucasfilm, which they purchased, so they give her another 3 years. His trilogy gets... I mean, think about it. She hired him to write and direct a Star Wars trilogy. That's at least a decade's worth of work. Like, the film Last Jedi hadn't even come out yet, and that deal was already done, signed, and sealed on the table. Wild.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing how much money Disney's blowing on these movies.
Yeah.
Well, it's really odd because like they see the pattern of failure. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, it still made money, but it didn't make as much money as it possibly could have. And they've been steadily, you know, making less on their dividends on Star Wars with every new installment. I mean, Solo was a flop, and the fact that they are so careless with the franchise speaks volumes of what they're actually trying to accomplish with it.
Yeah.
You'd think that they would be extremely careful about who and, you know, what the people that are representing their product would have to say. But no, they don't care.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I just find it, when you can dull the shine and burnish on a franchise like Star Wars, you're either spectacularly incompetent or trying to fuck it up.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know what they're thinking. I think they really believe that the fans don't matter, that there will be new fans. I think they really believe that. And that they can ignore all the old stuff and just piss those people off and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, I did want to. So I don't know. What would you gentlemen like to cover next? Get right into the. I don't know. It's going to be a long talk for that other shit.
Oh, fucking rip the Band-Aid off, because I have no idea what the fuck anyone's talking about. And
all right,
I've been seeing it on Twitter all day. I don't.
Okay, you know what Vox is?
The BuzzFeed wannabe.
Yes.
Okay.
That has, the numbers vary, but somewhere between 150 and $200 million invested in them by NBC and various other mega conglomerates.
Oh God, why?
To buy them, they wanted to get in on a going concern. They wanted to get in on the ground level of a already operating internet media group.
Ugh.
So we're going to, like, they weren't just like investing in them. They're investing in them for a piece of the pie. You know what I mean? Like, and control. So it's like, that's like, so we hear the kids like this internet thing. Well, we better get on that. Like, you know, and Vox and Vice, that's what all these hipster kids that are all woke, as they say, are watching. Okay, let's invest in that.
I don't know why these kids are wide awake, but they are.
Yeah,
Especially
Mike Parlett,
at night. Oh my God.
Mike Parlett says to be hip and trendy. Yeah, exactly. Vox is the hip thing, right? In any case.
Well, it is word. Literally, that's what it means.
Yes. So Vox has, much like Vice, has a bunch of contributors that work there that do these little woke internet videos, YouTube videos where they exploring white privilege, and here's the problem with the white man and Drumpf, and white people suck because of this reason, and here's this other thing about and here's this other thing about cultural appropriation. Number 5 will shock the hell out of you, that kind of shit.
You won't believe number 8.
Yeah, no, exactly, like total clickbait media, and their worth is going down and down and down. One of their contributors is a guy by the name of Carlos Meza.
Okay.
As if you watch any one of his videos, you will very quickly find out he's both Latino and gay. And he speaks about it constantly. He refers to himself as a queer. His Twitter handle is @gaywonk. So he's not ashamed of it and kind of throws these words around. Now, he does a lot of videos where he talks about all the things you would classically expect someone like him at Vox to talk about. Climate change is going to kill us all. Cultural appropriation, homophobia is everywhere, Islamophobia, the white man, Trump. You know what I'm talking about, right? Steven Crowder doing what he does, Louder with Crowder, his show, right? Decided I'm going to debunk this guy's videos because they're promoted to hell, they're crap, they're horribly researched, they're intended to have a comedic element to them, and they're not funny. So I'm going to do a video debunking them. And Crowder was pulling somewhere between 1 million and 2 views per debunk video that he did. Now, now Crowder being Crowder is also throwing around terms like you lispy queer and you V-necked Mexican and blah blah blah, right? Because this is the way the guy's talking about himself. Well, a couple of days ago, 3 days ago, Jack, why don't you take over from there? Tell us what happened 3 days ago.
Well, the guy got a little butthurt and decided to go after Crowder for it. So what he did was he filed like some DMCA notices, and he went and bitched to YouTube, went to tell mommy and daddy on the Twitters. Said, why is this guy allowed to do all this hate speech, blah, blah, blah. And then he told all his fans to report him too. Oh, no. So he targeted the harassment toward somebody he thought was targeting harassment toward him. And he just bitched and whined up a storm, and it created a big controversy. And YouTube started an investigation on Steven Crowder.
So,
yeah. Now, here's the thing.
Steven Crowder did obvious satire, right? And
he did a number of him, and for some reason, now this becomes key in terms of what a lot of people are talking about, right? Okay. He's done these debunk videos of Carlos Meza's. His channel series was called Strike Through. Oh, how hip, right? Came out with a video once a month or once every couple of weeks. Crowder would do one every now and then. He's probably got like 5 or 6 where he's debunked this, debunks his climate change stuff, debunks his claims on socialism because he's a filthy fucking pinko Marxist. But yet works for a company and takes all the money and probably pays very few taxes, in my opinion. But, Marxism. Anyway.
Yeah.
Because the billionaires will pay for all of my dreams, He doesn't complain about any of these things, Carlos Meza. He doesn't raise a shitstorm over it, is the best way to say it. But then after his last debunking video, after Crowder's last debunking video, he put on Twitter a 15-tweet thread. And every one of those tweets individually says, Crowder's not the problem, YouTube is the problem because they enable homophobic hate like this. YouTube is supposed to be a safe space for queer creators. It's obvious that @YouTube doesn't care about the LGBT community. And for @YouTube to be doing this during Pride Month of all times is despicable. They are, and all of it aimed at YouTube. Now, I guess it shouldn't surprise you, or maybe it would. Carlos Meza used to work for Media Matters. Do you know who Media Matters is?
I don't know who Media Matters is. Who is Media Matters?
The fastest TLDR that I can do, they're a nonprofit group that absolutely should not have nonprofit status because they are a left-wing progressive liberal group that organizes in an activist fashion to attack anything conservative, their political enemies. They do the dirty work of the DNC and progressive liberals in particular. They go after, whenever you see one of the Tucker Carlson show, here are their sponsors. We are going to tweet out all of their sponsors. If you disagree with Islamophobia, xenophobia, white nationalism, then ask Gillette and Ford trucks and whoever the fuck else that they list off. Ask them why they're supporting this kind of bigotry. That's the kind of activism that they organize.
They originally formed just to bring down Fox News.
Mm-hmm.
Then they kind of expanded to any right-leaning or so-called alt-righter.
Take a wild guess who one of their major benefactors is, Quiz.
Hillary Clinton.
No.
No?
No.
George Soros.
There you go.
There you go. All right. One of the two.
But they're tax-free status, and he worked there and he learned their tactics well. If you want to dox somebody, doxing them is one thing, but doxing them to their boss and getting them fired, now that really hurts. This is the way SJWs operate, right? They don't go after Vic Mignogna by just calling him names. They report to Rooster Teeth and Funimation. They go after his job and get him fired, hit him where it hurts, right? Because that's the kind of dirty pool they're playing. That's what Meza did, Carlos Meza. It's like YouTube's the problem. YouTube's the one who's harboring him. YouTube loves creators like Steven Crowder. They generate this kind of hate by rewarding this kind of behavior through clicks. And who retweets them? None other than Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Now, that's how big it got. You know what I mean? And people are now all of that detail, right, was why now? Why out of nowhere? Why did in 72 hours the Washington Post, People, Newsweek, New York Times all cover this story and do interviews with Carlos Meza? And why were the headlines and the gist of all of the stories YouTube creator attacked with homophobic slurs? YouTube does nothing. Seems like extremely organized.
Yeah.
Almost like somebody who knows exactly what they're doing and who to contact with the right kind of bait story to get leftist writers interested. And here's a great gotcha expose story that you can write on. I will provide you with all the information. Washington Post, Crowder put up a video today and I watched it. It was fucking hilarious. In the Washington Post story, this is the Washington Post. Look, they're fucking around with stuff this low. Shows you where they're at. You know what I mean? Yeah. In the story, it says, we contacted Steven Crowder, but he wasn't available or wasn't immediately available for comment. They went to his merch store front on his website.
Yeah.
And in the questions and comments section, submitted a request for an interview and says, if you don't respond in an hour, we're going to have to go ahead. The comment section at his merch store, that's how they tried to get a hold of him. They didn't go to his contact section. They didn't email him. They didn't tweet at him. Nothing.
Oh, well, why would they actually want to talk to him? He's an evil person.
Yeah. So YouTube, who never responds to anybody famously, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Crowder's got 3.7 million subs. He can't get YouTube to respond to him. He's got to threaten him through his half Asian lawyer, Bill Richmond, to get any kind of action out of them. But they responded to Carlos Meza right away. And it's like, we'll be DMing you shortly and we'll look into this. The response reads as follows. Thank you again for taking the time to share all of this information with us. We take the allegations of harassment very seriously. We know this is important and impacts a lot of people. Our team spent the last few days conducting an in-depth review of the videos flagged to us. And while we found that the language was clearly hurtful, the videos as posted don't violate our policies. We've included more information below to explain the decision. Okay.
Sounds good.
As an open platform, it's crucial for us to allow everyone, from creators to journalists to late night TV hosts, to express their opinions within the scope of our policies. Opinions can be deeply offensive, but if they don't violate our policies, they'll remain on our site.
Okay.
And Part 4, even if a video remains on our site, it doesn't mean we endorse/support that viewpoint. There are other aspects of the channel that we're still evaluating. We'll be in touch with any further updates at Gay Wonk.
That doesn't sound very good.
Well, what's wild about that, part of the letter that they got was we take into consideration whether criticism is focused primarily on debating the opinions expressed or it is solely malicious. We apply these policies consistently, regardless of how many views a video has. Meaning Crowder was spending most of his time debating Maze's points, and any kind of crack he made about him being queer did not constitute the bulk of what was going on in that video. What are you going to say there, Jack?
Yeah.
I was just laughing at the fact that the rules are applied evenly.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, I know.
Definitely not.
There is certain behavior that is never okay. That includes encouraging viewers to harass others online and offline, or revealing non-public personal information, i.e. doxing. None of Maze's personal information was ever revealed in content uploaded by Crowder and flagged to our team for review. As a matter of fact, Crowder goes out of his way every video to say, don't contact these people. Doxing is bullshit. Crowder hates doxers. And yeah, I watch Crowder. He actually really does hate doxers in a big way. So that kind of left him like high and dry, because Meza kept saying, I've been doxxed. This is so terrible, awful things. One of the things that turned into a big deal was, believe it or not, the shirts. He's got a Che Guevara shirt. Crowder has a Che Guevara shirt available for sale at his merch store. Yeah. That says socialism is for figs. Now, it's F, image of a fig, GS. So you read what you want to read there.
Yeah.
Okay. They're all saying it's obviously socialism is for figs, not figs. And
I'm sorry, what?
You heard me.
Bundles of sticks.
Oh.
Yes. So get this, YouTube tweets at him. The only problem that we actually did this. So Crowder got demonetized entirely, but wasn't kicked off the channel. He got kicked right out of the partners program. No more ad revenue for Crowder with its 3.7 million subs. Okay. And 1 and 2 million view videos that he produces regularly. No more AdSense money off of that at all. And but they tweet at him, he would be acceptable to return to the program were he to remove the link to the socialism is for fig shirt, if he removes that link, and then tweets out later, actually, it wasn't just that, it's about a lot of the content, and we're going to have to look further into it regardless of the shirt. So it's the right hand not knowing what the left hand is doing. Did both of these things come from the same account at YouTube? Yes, they did. So there's a big confusion there. So get rid of the shirt and everything's fine. And then later on, no, it's not just about the shirt.
It's not confusion. It's purposely misleading. So he'll say, "Oh, I removed the link. That's good enough," you said, and they'll be like, "Well, as it happens,
it wasn't.
It wasn't just that." See, now they have cushion to go a little further. They can ask for more concessions.
Yeah. So sorry for all the background for everybody who already knows all of that, but the quiz, that's what led us up to what's going on now. There has been a purge on YouTube all day long of videos, people being kicked out of the partners program, videos disappearing, channels disappearing. Boom, 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 boom. When I was first hearing about this, I'm like, is my channel still here? Because I've thrown around the ferg word a few times, and maybe
what was that? One more time?
Well, I might have called a few people some fergers or something, but that, it, yeah. And, we might have talked about some blue whales from time to time, and perhaps
Sham Blue is a passionate and loving character, and I won't have you besmirching her name.
It's true. Yeah, I was wrong to do so. I apologize. And I mean, this channel's microscopic. Don't get me wrong. We love our audience very much because they're awesome and they show up here all the time and they're supportive.
Exactly.
And we're getting bigger slowly over time, and we're happy for that. By the way, well, I'm reminding, if you haven't already, please like the channel. It actually helps with bringing it up in the recommends for other people to come by. In any case, I didn't think that easier to squash a small channel than a big one, because it's like thousands of channels were gone today. And it's like, notice the things that they list are all, according to their official release, YouTube, we're getting rid of white nationalist content, hate content, Nazi content. And it's like, can you just write jihadi just to make me feel a little bit better?
Islamophobe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like everything is just like, yeah, that's the only hateful content in the world. Homophobic, Nazi, white nationalist stuff. That's it, huh?
Well, it depends how you define those. Because as Mark Wade said, they're kind of, loose definitions these days.
Well, that now, no kidding, right? No fucking kidding.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, God fucking damn it, that pissed me off when Wade pulled that shit. When he was being deposed, that motherfucker Mark Wade, for those in chat who don't know, Richard C. Meyer, your boy Zach, is suing him over tortious interference and defamation over him screwing over Richard Meyer to get his book published to Arctic Press. Anyway, Meyer sues him, as he rightfully should, in my opinion. They're both being deposed, being asked questions by the lawyers under oath, and it's being recorded. And Meyer's lawyer is pressuring him. It's like, you call my client a white nationalist and had associations with white nationalist groups. Can you help us understand, like, what's your evidence for that? You should have fucking heard Wade's yellow-bellied, mealy-mouthed, bullshit-ass, meandering response. It was, well, it's kind of a spectrum these days. We have very, it's like,
I'm sure that Mark Wade is on the spectrum.
Yeah. It's like, we have varying definitions, kind of like hints and signs and like whatever. And the lawyer has to be like, can you say that again, but have it be cogent and clear and coherent in some kind of way?
Well, he can't, because if he does, he's going to be tipping his hand to the fact that he's just talking bullshit.
Thank you. Exactly. It's like the more specific he is, the more specific he's going to be about how he was just making it all up. Yep. That I called him a white nationalist because that's something that nobody wants to be labeled as, because it's defaming, and I wanted to hit him where it hurts and screw up his reputation publicly. So I called him this bad thing. Oh, so in other words, you're guilty of textbook public defamation, like you're being sued for currently. It's a bad word I called him, and so I wanted to hurt him, so I called him this thing. Thanks for admitting the full extent of the charges.
Yeah,
right?
I was going to say, and that's the reason why he can't admit it, because then he would be admitting his wrongdoing. He's going to fucking ride it out as long as he possibly can to try and get Richard to settle. And here's the thing. Richard, do not settle. Do not settle like Jeremy Hambley did. All right? Don't do it. It's about the principle.
Well, let me ask you. Well, hold on. That you raise an interesting point. You said not like Jeremy Hambley did.
Yeah.
Jeremy had, even if Wade, like, okay, so Hambley got the guy, what was his name, Jack?
It was
the Nazi puncher?
Matt Lauder.
Yeah.
Thank you. Matt Lauder. Oh, shit. Quiz is the one with the Johnny Mnemonic brain today. Okay. Nice. Got him to read the statement. I never thought I didn't before. I don't now, and I won't in the future believe that this guy is a Nazi. I was wrong to attack him. Violence is never the answer. I apologize. And I was like, he had to say, like, what a jerk. He looked like a jerk off having to say, I said this guy was a Nazi, but I don't believe he actually is. It's like, wait a minute. You're under the impression he was, you jerk off. You Quiz, would you not, like, if Mark Wade was admitting the full, it's like, I defamed Richard Meyer. I do not believe he's a white nationalist. I had no evidence for saying so. I did interfere with the publication of his book, and I was wrong for doing so. That you don't think that would satisfy the principle?
No,
if they settled? No.
I think that if the settlement even includes that, I don't think that would get to the core principle of it. I think the core principle will only be satisfied with a scorched earth tactic. Mark Wade needs to be ruined for the point to actually get across, because otherwise people are just going to sit there and say, well, I can settle out of court and say, a couple of things disingenuously, because I don't think Matt Lauder was genuine when he was saying those things. He was doing it under court order.
Yeah, but you're never okay. Meyer, in a video 2 days ago, said, because I was talking to my lawyer the other day, and he said, look, you need to understand something. You're never going to get somebody to learn the error of their ways or learn new ways, especially if there's somebody in their mid-50s. You need to learn to accept a dollar value.
Well, see, okay.
What do you think of that?
I don't think it's about Wade at all. Okay.
Okay.
Ruining Wade is not for Wade. It's not. It's for all the people that try to emulate Wade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the reason why Wade needs to be ruined.
I hate to say it, but I agree with Quiz, because it's not necessarily about Wade. It's about the Bill Sienkiewiczs and the Eric Larsons and people like that that have decent enough insurance that they'll be like, well, I slandered him, yeah, but it'll just cost me a payout, and the insurance will pick it up.
The insurance, or I can default on my payment plan or any of that kind of stuff. The point of the litigation is in my opinion, the principle is not for the litigant to get money or any of that kind of stuff. It's to send a message to all the other people that would emulate the action.
Okay, but you're I'm still not catching the point, because like a settlement could be destructively massive.
It could be, but it's not.
I think you guys seem to be under the impression that a settlement will be like $100,000 and therefore insurance will take care of it. Like the settlement could be like $4 million. It could destroy Wade.
Yes, I get that. Okay, I get that entirely. But there's also things like you can default on those. You can put them in payment plans. You can do all that kind of stuff. It's a sort of thing.
Yeah, but you could do that against findings as well, like the court awards, whatever, and you can avoid them
if you get an award
in the same fashion. Okay, what?
As opposed to a settlement, you can have somebody go after his assets.
Okay, make the distinction for me then, because I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. So I'm like, wait a minute, what is it we're disagreeing on? So let me ask you this: court finds him guilty of defamation and tortious interference with a contract. Okay, and they award him, I don't know, I'll say $2 million, number out of the air. Okay, Meyer gets awarded $2 million. A settlement for $2 million. And Wade has to admit on camera that he tortiously interfered with a contract and whatever the fuck. What's the difference now?
First of all, I don't think Wade would agree to a settlement.
Okay.
Secondly, I think that the settlements are always a negotiation. So you're not going to get as much as you want. And it's not about the money. It's about setting the precedent to these other Twitter lunatic and weirdos out there that work professionally in comics to not do this. They have to understand that they could end up homeless with nothing just because they wanted some internet PP touches.
And you think that that'll happen with the guilty finding, but not with the settlement?
Yes.
Yeah, because the settlement, you can have a confidentiality clause where it's never discussed. So they will never see the repercussions. Whereas if you go for a judgment, the judgment's public. Yeah. And the record won't be sealed then. They'll know how much his assets are and how much he's going to lose. Whereas
they've already agreed to a confidentiality, so you're not going to get that.
Oh, yeah, you will. Yeah, you can still find out that he lost.
You're going to find out he lost, but in a settlement, you know that he settled. So, I mean...
No, in the settlement, it could be sealed, and then nobody will know anything. You'll know there was a settlement, and it could have just been like, my bad... And that was the entire settlement. You don't know because it could be sealed.
But this is why I brought up, this. It all started when Quiz said not like with Hambly, and I'm like, I don't know. Like the amount wasn't known that Hambly settled for. Fair enough. But the guy did have to. Part of the settlement that Hambly insisted on was you publicly defame me, call me a Nazi or pedo. You're going to need to retract that, say you were wrong, and apologize.
Yeah.
Like let's be honest. The Matt Fantastic guy didn't have shit. He did. Yeah, he owned a store and he had a little bit of money because he did game development. I have to bring up one thing that Ryan Walters said here. The point of the litigation was to resolve the conflict. Jeremy settled because it was in his interest to do so. Jeremy wanted to go back to the conventions where he makes his money. I don't disagree with that, Ryan. I understand that, and I understand that that's probably where Jeremy was coming from too. The problem was that he that settlement and the lawsuit in and around that had nothing to do with Gen Con. It only had to do with Matt Lauder. So if Gen Con made the decision that was, entirely circumstantial, it wasn't part of the lawsuit. I get the idea, and I get why if Jeremy wanted to do that because he had assurances that Gen Con would lift his ban. Sure. And I could see that being a major incentive for Jeremy too. But again, I don't know. For me, he could have probably gotten that same deal with Gen Con if he won the suit against Matt Lauder. And they're two different cases too. One's about an assault and one is about somebody trying to go after your money.
Yeah.
Well, in the end, as much like I want to see a large amount that hurts for the example to be made, where the Bill Sinkowitzes and the Chuck Wendigs, yeah, absolutely think twice and three times, especially because it's Mark motherfucking Wade. It's a huge name, and he's like Captain SJW with this shit. Like the weak protect or the strong protecting the weak and all of his fucking bullshit. Yeah, I want to see that guy hit harder than anyone because he's the loudmouth. He's the guy who caused all these fucking problems and thought he could with impunity do the things that he was doing. So yeah, I want to see that happen, but I think we're going to get our wish anyway. Because I don't know if you guys heard about Wade at the producers and distributors convention that just happened.
Yeah.
And at the end of his panel, he said, "So stop by my booth for what's the name of his new universe? Humanoids."
He works with Humanoids.
Yeah.
On a new launch.
So stop by the Humanoids booth where I'll sign comic books. I'll sign anything as long as it isn't a settlement check.
Well, he cracked a shitty dad joke. That I don't care about that. It's the fact that my
point being is that this guy seems absolutely dead set on not settling. So we're going to get our wish. He's going to take it to the bitter end, and that motherfucker better hope he wins. Because,
well, I think he thinks he is going to win.
Yeah,
I don't think he is. I'm just going to say,
when you're righteous, you think when you think you're righteous, you think you're immune from harm. It's a form of zealotry.
Yeah.
I mean, these SJWs, a lot of them treat this like a religion, and that's how they view the world, through that huge zealotry lens. I mean, if you've never spent a lot of time around like crazy religious people, like the diehard, who are those lunatics in Kansas that used to protest soldiers' funerals? Westboro.
Oh, Westboro, yeah.
Yeah, people like that. They have that kind of cult mentality. And I think Mark Waid is a true believer that he is on the right side of history and that his truth will shine through. I don't think he's even remotely considering settling.
Well, Midnight in Exile makes an interesting point. He says settlement is a surrender. They will take it as a victory. They need to have a complete loss, i.e., like a guilty finding at the end of a civil trial. I understand what you're saying, and I agree with that. But am I still presenting just myself?
I don't know.
I didn't think so. Anyway.
I'd say I have you selected because you were reading an article, but you're the controller, so.
Yeah, and Chrome just froze for me, so I'm going to have to drop out and come back in a second.
Oh,
but
no!
Yeah, I know, right? Thank you, Chrome.
Well, we can address the chat while you do that.
Well, yeah, but in the meantime, before I do that, like Midnight Exile, I understand the point you're making, but one thing that's odd about that, like let's say Wade loses outright hardcore. Hey, listen, when there was just a rumor that Richard Meyer was going to sue, you already had Shamblu and SJW Spider-Man and every other fucktard out there saying meritless lawsuit. This is meritless. And then when the suit started, it was a harassment campaign, a harassment fake lawsuit. After he wins, they're still going to declare it a victory and call it a travesty of justice. And now Mark Waid is a martyr. Like nobody loses in social media.
Yeah.
Everything's a victory. Carlos Meza is, you can, when you read between the lines of his tweets today, yeah, he's mad as hell, but he's still calling it a victory. Haha, I cost Crowder all of his money. I got him kicked out of the partners program, and he doesn't get any money. It's like, yeah, but 90% of his money, as he himself admits, comes through Mug Club. He's privately funded by the viewers, you moron. Doesn't stop Meza from declaring it as a victory. Mark Waid, even when he loses, will still be called an ultra martyr. He fell on his own sword for the cause. Like if he surrenders and makes a settlement, it'll be seen as an act of heroism that he was willing to do that for the LGBT POCs.
Yeah, but he's only getting Twitter backpats if he doesn't actually. There's nothing to be gained by them copying what he did and losing everything they've got. He went and did it for them. So they're going to be way more hesitant to go out and do that, knowing that there's an entire group of people that will help raise money to defend somebody like this, like Richard Meyer.
Yeah.
Look at how much money he's raised. It's like $175,000 now.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
Already he raised like over $200,000 for his comic book and stuff like that, and then he raises an additional $100,000 for his lawsuit just to fuck over Mark Waid.
Hey, Renting Monkeys in chat. And it's funny, I got a DM from Monkey the other day, and we should all be proud, chat. We got Monkey buying comics again. New comics. Welcome to the cult.
Welcome back to the cult.
Yeah, back to the cult. He was gone for a while, but well, and that's the thing, like, with just as a more positive side note, because we talk so much about how angry this stuff makes us. It makes us angry because we love the genre so that these things are happening to it. There's so much fun going on in comics, and if stuff to get started with and the pitches that we make and shit like that. God, how much do we love it, guys, when we get tweets from people that went out and bought stuff that we recommended? That's so cool to see. Yeah. And and they come back and they say this was awesome, and Monkey went and bought a Venom graphic novel that he had been wanting. And
us off in chat.
What's that?
He just flipped us off in chat.
I'd like to think that it wasn't actually Monkey, it was his wallet, but that's okay.
That's the last dollar bill sticking out of his wallet.
Yeah.
As long as Lady Monkey doesn't find out we're the ones partly responsible. It's okay. Chrome is still frozen for me, guys. I'm gonna have to bounce out. I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll address a couple of things here. Ryan Walters said he was talking to Midnight in Exile. I guess they're going back and forth about the lawsuits thing. I actually 100% agree with this. He goes, what does that have to do with Hambley's lawsuit or lawsuits in general? The cops and prosecution refused to take action. Hambley's lawsuit had no sway on that. I absolutely agree with that. And that is one thing that pissed me the fuck off about the whole situation with Hambley, was the fact that the cops did abso-fucking-lutely nothing. They did not go and find him after he was able to ID the guy. No one came and got. That's the thing. If I were Jeremy, I'd be more pissed off the fact that I had to go to a double poly. I'd have to go to a fucking civil suit to get some sort of restitution because the cops were not fucking going. Uh-oh. Is it muted for people?
I don't know.
Is what muted for people?
I say people are saying, did it go quiet for anyone else? Anyway, the one thing that pisses me off is the fact that it goes that they didn't fucking arrest the guy for assault. He had witnesses. He had evidence of the assault and battery. It was technically battery. It wasn't assault. Well, it was assault and battery because he was saying, "You fucking Nazi, I'll kill you." So yeah, no, like that's one thing that pisses me off is the fact that no one, the cops didn't do anything, that he had to get his restitution in a lawsuit. That pisses me off.
That actually happens more than you think with these kind of cases. Even if you've got witnesses, a lot of times the cops aren't going to do anything because it's, in their mind, not a serious thing. It's some sort of personal beef. And unless somebody goes to the hospital, it's not going to ever...
If I were Jeremy, I would have gone to the hospital, especially with that burst blood vessel in his eye and shit like that.
Dude, you get hit in the head, go to the hospital.
Yes. Like that sort of thing. If that happened to me, I would do everything in my motherfucking power to make sure that those asshole police did their fucking job and put that asshole in cuffs.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't care about.
There's another thing to remember. Okay, yeah, it costs the guy big money, but he's still walking around without a criminal record for assault.
Yeah.
Assault and battery, rather.
Well, he would have got it pled down to a third-degree misdemeanor that would have been like loitering or something. Yeah. So that you really can't bank on. You can't bank on the cops doing their job or the prosecutor following through because it's just not going to happen. If you get hit, though, if you ever get hit in the head, start slurring your words and saying that you're confused and acting a little erratically, act semi-drunk. They'll take you to the hospital and do a scan on your head. Then they'll go after the guy.
Yeah. Jesse Green, stay back!
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
we will defend ourselves.
If he had failure there, he could have stood his ground. Because that's what Failure did. He was walking up, standing his ground.
Yeah.
Like an idiot.
Well, we were talking about Mark Waid. So let's see what that asshole is up to. Over here in Newsarama, where they promote all things that promotable, shiltastic bastards. School shooting survivors become superheroes in Ignited from Wade, Osajeffo, and Briones. So Mark Waid, being the kind of dick that he is, seemingly went around and formed a business partnership or at least creative relationship with everybody that Richard Meyer has ever had any kind of disagreement with online. This is the level Mark Waid's operating on. People call him like the big baby, the 50-year-old baby. Yeah, there you go. Comic Book's newest shared universe, the H1 imprint from Humanoids, launches this week with a title whose premise hits very close to real-world issues, only with superpowers involved. Ignited deals with the reopening of the Phoenix Academy in the aftermath of a fatal school shooting, and some of the survivors now have abilities they're using to fight back. So that, what do they take on the NRA and the GOP? Combining... Was that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Combining classic superpowered teen angst with modern issues, the series is also reaching out to survivors of real-world shootings to give them a forum to tell their stories. The series is co-written by veteran comics writer and H1 director of creative development Mark Waid, the Giant Baby, alongside H1 architect Kwanzaa Professionally Black Osajeffo, with art by Phil Briones. Suicide Squad. Sadly, we hired him for that. Newsarama spoke to Waid about the new book, the possible controversy of its premise, and much more. They spoke to him? You mean their Access Media, Newsarama?
Yeah,
we will promote the ever-loving shit out of you and make you look great as long as you're willing to talk to us.
Well, either that or they're getting stuff from AP and just, regurgitating it.
Well, disclosure, I did order this. It did come out today. I didn't pick it up yet. I'm going to get it this weekend. But I did order this because it looked hilariously bad.
Oh, shit. What was that dude on Vox?
Carlos Meza.
Carlos Meza. Okay, if Osajeffo is professional black, then Carlos is professional gay.
Yeah, he is. Oh, he's a professional queer.
Certified, yes.
Yeah, no, there isn't a video the guy does where he's not. Well, as a gay Latino, I feel that. And particularly, I understand these problems as a gay Latino. And like every fucking video, he's professionally gay and professionally Mexican.
I love the fact that I have to bring it up again. I'm not sure if I ever brought it up on Comic Book Curation. I know I brought it up on Minions. One of my favorite YouTube creators, Lyle McDouchebag, he rebranded himself to Lyle Wrath. He had a podcast where he was talking about how his friends and him were bored one day, and to kill some time, they went to a Scientologist place and took their audit. And they give you like a questionnaire that you have to fill out. And one of the things that he put down, and it was great just to get it to the interview stage. And he goes, so it says here that your profession is, or it says here that you are professional gay. And he goes, certified, yes.
Okay.
So it immediately made me laugh thinking about that line. But that's true for what's his nuts.
Like, I mean, and people in chat are saying like, he's cashing in on school shootings. The guy, women, POCs, LGBTQ, especially trans, the school shooters now. The guy's willing to cash in on any trendy cause du jour, cause célèbre. It's what this guy does.
Oh, it's better than that, because do you know what he based the idea of this off of? The Parkland survivors.
Yeah. He says it right here, so what has it been a unique experience writing Humanoids, blah blah blah. Please give us a sales pitch that we can promote as if it's an actual news story, Mr. Waid. Waid responds, initially, it was the ignited pitch that drew me in immediately. Our national inaction on school shootings is a real hot button issue for me, something that enrages me like nothing else. But once I was inside Humanoids, I was taken with their approach to a wide variety of non-superhero genres, and I wanted to contribute more. I'm throwing my weight behind this company because of the quality of their projects is stunning to me. Why did you happen to drag along as the director of creative development? Why'd you happen to drag in by coincidence, seemingly every single person that Richard Meyer, your boy Zach, has ever had an online beef with, even in a small way.
Well, you see, the strong protect the weak, and as a white man, he feels it's his burden to lift up these poor others, and he has to manifest their destiny.
You know what's funny is
that things up so many ways before I start giggling. So
it's obvious what you're doing, Wade. It's obvious that Richard Meyer lives rent free in your head 24 hours a day. And it's obvious that Monkey and trying to blame me for starting after 10 p.m. he's forgetting that he was the one suggested we never start on time as part of our shtick. That was your idea. So, there's all sorts of confusing things happening.
I like Sad Boy's comment here. I'm a bisexual Hispanic, and I'm just going to say this sounds pretty fucking gay. Yeah, it's just politically driven comics. I don't know the longevity of this kind of title, because it's already been, a year and something since the Parkland shooting? 2 years? It's not topical anymore, and it's going to be so ham-fisted because you've got the gay Latino that has the green hair. They're all just stereotypes. There's not going to be any character development. I read their free comic book day thing, and it was just talking point. Me falling asleep for 20 minutes. Talking point.
Well, yeah, I mean, in terms of characters that go nowhere and dealing with supposedly topical issues, but is actually just a bunch of promotion and ideology, let's talk about the downfall of Vertigo Comics.
Man, this makes me sad.
It does make me sad, but they ruined it themselves. For those who don't know, I mean, what are the things that ran on Vertigo most recently, guys? There was
most recently is all of the garbage. It was Goddess Mode from Zoe Quinn. There was
Border Town
that got canceled like not even halfway through it.
Second Coming.
That didn't even get released.
It didn't even get released and sold to another company to be put out on. Everything was just SJW, fuck Trump. There's white, angry militia type guys all throughout the country that just can't wait to do a trans person in or hunting Mexicans. That's all Border Town was all about. Fucking ridiculous. And you ruined it. Oh, yeah. Well, after 26 years, DC Comics rumored to close Vertigo, which was an imprint for them. Written by Rich Johnston, and they're the ones, DC Vertigo, that leaked this story to Bleeding Cool. Why? Because they knew they were going to softball the shit out of it for them.
Yep.
And so let's see how butter soft Rich Johnson makes this. Bleeding Cool has been in...
I think you're making a comment about Rich Johnston's physique there.
Bleeding Cool has been in
there for a second. Some sort of anal sex reference.
Bleeding Cool has been in. Okay, fourth time. Bleeding Cool has been informed by a number of sources this morning that DC Comics is planning to shutter its Vertigo imprint. This has come as quite a surprise to some. Who?
Yeah, right. Not anyone paying attention.
As I also understand that DC Comics has just greenlit a number of Vertigo projects for publication. Okay. Indeed, there are plans for a big launch of new books for the San Diego Comic-Con, spearheading a new Vertigo thing. What? Okay, but I have been told that word has come on from high rather rapidly to make the change. Some contracts are being revoked, some creator-owned titles released back to their creators, and some will be moved within the publisher. And those infected,
yeah, well.
Those affected are being informed. Now, he starts talking about Vertigo being created back in 1993. Let's not pretend that's got anything to do with current Vertigo.
Yeah, no, the back in the day when Hellblazer was on Vertigo, back in the day when Green Arrow was on Vertigo, back in the day when not even that long ago, had Bill Willingham doing Fables on Vertigo. All of that shit was good. It wasn't until this last extremely social justice field failure that now DC has to shutter an imprint. How bad is Zoe Quinn at writing a goddamn comic book?
Obviously awful. She's never written any fiction before homogeneous comic.
Okay. To be fair, I've read most of the Vertigo books, and Zoe Quinn's was not the worst.
Oh well. All I gotta say is,
Polly, meow.
Everything she writes is fiction. Everything.
Yeah, well, FBI reports, whatever.
See, all of the story that I just scrolled through was about Vertigo's very interesting past and a lot of the great things that they had done. Now we get down, and there's the buttersoft treatment that Rich Johnson was giving them on how it's a sad thing that it's coming to an end. Let's talk about why it's coming to an end. The 2018 relaunch that fizzled. You mean exploded in their face? You fucking morons. A recent relaunch last year alongside the Sandman title saw the announcement of Border Town by Eric Esquivel and Ramon Villalobos, canceled in December after 4 published and 2 unpublished issues after harassment allegations against Esquivel. Second Coming by Mark Russell and Richard Pace, canceled before its debut over content concerns, finding a new home at Ahoy Comics. Hex Wives, which ended after 6 issues, American Carnage, Goddess Mode by Zoe Quinn, High Level by Rob Sheridan, and the currently unscheduled Safe Sex by Tina Horn and Mike Dowling. It didn't set the world on fire, he said, understating the matter wildly. At its peak, it was the very best American comics had to offer, but internal politics within Warner's and DC saw them kill the golden goose for some time now.
Yeah, back in when Sandman ended,
Yeah. Attempt to revive it with Sandman Presents and the new titles from prominent names have not succeeded.
Prominent names in shit that isn't comics, like Zoe Quinn. What the fuck was DC thinking?
No, they've got some higher talent on The Dreaming and Sandman Presents. That's what they're talking about there. That and Zoe Quinn, because those are the only people that were recognizable. But that it's too little, too late to bring that Sandman book in because it's boring as fuck.
Yeah, like I'm just reading through the end of it here. Like, and are there planned? And there is still planned San Diego Comic-Con launch. Will it be repurposed, changed, dropped, or is this still a lot of bunkum? Bunk. Oh, as in bunk material. Bunkum.
Yes.
I like buncum better. Anyway.
Again, are we talking about Carlos? Are we switching topics again?
Professional gay.
Enjoy comic book curation while it lasts, folks. In any case, the Bronco Boaz says it. Get woke, go broke. Yeah, nobody wants to read your shitty fuck drumpf. Everyone's racist. Bullshit material. Like Zoe Quinn can now go around and call herself a comic book writer, and that's an insult to I know I keep pounding away at this point, but there are people that graduate with English degrees and have worked away at their writing talent with no formal education that would have killed for a chance to write for a major DC publication, and instead they gave it to somebody who's never written a comic book before. They did it with Ta-Nehisi Coates over at Marvel. Someone who's never written fiction, never written a comic book before. Oh, here, why don't you take Black Panther, which is super hot right now because of the MCU film coming out, and you do something with the character. So he creates Black Panther and the Crew and puts all of the black characters in Marvel together in one comic, which failed miserably. It failed miserably. Why don't we move you over to write for Captain America, you racist hack?
I actually do have a copy of Black Panther and the Crew to read. So look forward to that fast pitch.
And what I noticed is, because I've been reading the Captain America that Ta-Nehisi Race Hustlin Coates writes, and he definitely took it in a different direction. Instead of it being overt, none of it is overt. It's that America, the underlying theme of the entire book is America is tearing itself apart and it's falling apart and it's in its latter days. And when are the good people going to rise up and fix all of the racism and corruption? And Captain America, being the incorruptible soul that he is so dismayed with the current state of America writ large that he has abandoned America and is now, quote, the captain of nothing. So instead of just like racism, he's just like, oh, fuck America is the theme of his comic book. It's so depressing. It's like, Jesus Christ, Ta-Nehisi Coates. The fuck, man.
Well, he's a piece of shit. What do you expect?
He absolutely is. It's I don't have any words like that. Turning Captain America into a Nazi is like an insult. Well, when you have Captain America being written as just an example of like, well, this is the twilight of the Republic, and really this guy's just witnessing its last days before it inevitably falls apart because of its racist past and internal corruption. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man?
What sort of axe do you have to grind, dude? Seriously, you need to seek therapy.
Yeah, that's what these books are. They're weirdo therapy journals by zealots with a quasi-religious mindset. They're just chick tracks, dude. That's what they're writing at Marvel. They're writing chick tracks.
Metawinter says that it's still locked on me. I wish I could undo that, but when Jack or Quiz talk, their icon comes up for me on the screen.
Hangout?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, like when you just talked, like your avatar came up. I don't know what's going on there. Sorry, guys.
Sad Boy's absolutely right. He said, I thought comics were supposed to be fun and creative and not some stupid politics and depression. Yeah, you're right. They're not supposed to be those things. They're supposed to be fun and creative, but they've decided that they own this now, and that's what they hire in.
They can be political. The problem is when they just keep, banging the same drum and only, keep the I don't know. It's hard to quantify because it's not necessarily the fact that it's political is the problem, right? It's the fact that these people are just beating innocent people over the head with their easily proven as false nonsense. I mean, it's not the fact that it's political that's the problem. It's the fact that it's social justice that's the problem. It's a downright zealot, sort of mentality that's being pushed as rote, as absolutely 100% what everyone should think.
Well, when you're on the right side of history, you need everyone to agree, or else.
I don't get it. I really don't get it because, like, it's. I mean, you don't even need to go that far to look at political comments that did well, that were, well done, well written, fun comics that people enjoyed reading, even if they didn't agree with the politics. I enjoyed the shit out of Hawkman, and he is a staunch conservative, and they bring it up quite a lot in the comic book. It's the sort of thing. It's the sort of fanatical my way or the highway sort of mentality that they're coming from as a writer that is fucking with the story. Because then it's not a fact of this is my political opinion. You can disagree with it and we can have a conversation. This is my political opinion, and if you don't agree with it, you're evil. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
I need something a little bit fun.
Yeah.
Let's this is why I've been reading old school Daredevil, man, because I've been just chilling, reading this late 60s, early 70s quote corniness. I don't care. It's fun. Things are affirmed. He's fighting bad guys. And am I going too far? Am I becoming the villain? No. I just have to do what I have to do.
I just checked, Polly. Yes, it is locked on us. Monkey said lock it on one of us and then unlock it. And sometimes that helps.
I did several times.
Oh,
no dice.
Okay.
So you got me.
Oh, I know what might help.
Screen share and then
I'll throw my Streamlabs in the chat. Maybe
that'll fix it. Fuck.
Oh, did you think I was being actually useful? I don't know how to do any of this shit.
Going over here, the first Wonder Woman 80. Yeah, first Wonder Woman 84 poster teases Diana's costume. I'm actually kind of disappointed because it really
It's very gold.
Well, see, I mean, there it is right there. And it's like, there's the premiere, right? And it's like, okay, so let's go over here and take a look at it. Well,
Well, no, that's not the poster that was trending on Twitter.
it's just the one that's attached to the CBR story. By all means, find the one that's trending on Twitter.
Yeah, I will. Here, give me some.
Because I am super excited for Wonder Woman 84. I really like the last Wonder Woman movie. It was fun. She was a hero. She was a fish out of water. She's a great character. I got a kick out of it. Fuck yeah.
What I liked most about that is she smiled a lot and was having fun being a hero.
Yeah, God forbid, right?
Yeah, it was.
I say, hey, shield your eyes, Polly. This is what the poster is for Wonder Woman 84.
Okay, chat, tell me if that image comes up for you guys. Because I can see it. If not, I'm going to drop out and return and see if it can make a difference. Gee, wish I could see it, Polly. Chat, don't get angry. Fuck.
Are you presenting?
All we can see is your logo. We see no sexy costumes. Yeah, okay. You know what? I'm going to drop out and join back in.
Well, you're not presenting him either, because every time you talk, it switches to your icon.
I am presenting him.
Oh, that's weird. No
Yeah.
That's really odd.
I shall return.
All right. Well, while he's gone, it's a very sparkly picture, and
it's very psychedelic.
Yeah, it looks more 70s than 80s.
I know, right? That's what I thought. I was like, man, this just should be like 74, not 84.
Yeah. 74 would have been great. She could have been on roller skates.
I know.
They could have used the soundtrack from the original series. That boom, 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 boom.
Well, I was gonna say use the soundtrack from Xanadu, man. Fuck yeah, it's Electric Light Orchestra and Olivia Newton-John. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, Xanadu was a horrible movie.
Oh, you bite your tongue. I love that movie.
It was right up there with Zardoz.
Oh no, Zardoz. The gun is good. The penis is evil. Oh, hi, Polly.
Hey.
We were just talking about Zardoz.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It just sort of happened.
All right. Can anybody? I'm
Silent Running. That's a good movie.
I'm presenting quiz again. Can everyone see the Technicolor horror that is the Wonder Woman poster?
Horror? Oh, I'm offended, sir. Here, hold on. Let me just.
Oh, James makes an interesting point. It might be karma for Polly abuses Jack.
It's still locked on Polly. You got me, man. I'm out of
That is so
thoughts.
fucked up. Yeah. Huh.
Well, YouTube's been having problems last week and a half or so, because we had some technical problems last week, and even on Sunday when we had Scribe on.
Yeah.
And it was locked on me while I was gone too.
Yep.
Fuck. I wasn't even here.
Maybe they changed shit around in the Hangouts. I don't know. I'm checking some of the features.
Whatever. I blame Chrome.
This is the beginning of the end of comic book curation, y'all. I'm gonna try and log in afterwards, and my whole channel's gonna be deleted.
Oh no, that's fine. YouTube is a problem. Yes, everyone's
well, considering how many videos they're blocking, channels they're demonetizing, videos they're demonetizing. Cryptic says delete your account and try again. Fuck off.
I thought it was funny, Cryptic.
Well, for all I know, this channel might this particular video might have got hit because in the tags already is Carlos Meza and Crowder and everything, because we were talking about them, right? So
yeah.
But what are they going to do? Demonetize me? I've got it stuck on quiz right now, presented on quiz just in case. Well, this kind of fucks up the whole thing. I guess we can talk about a bunch of stories, but it's going to be really hard to pitch comics. Thanks, YouTube, you fuckers.
We'll work around it. We'll describe things.
Well, you know what we could do is we could share the comic with you, Polly, and then have you present it. If you presenting
no, people couldn't even see me when I was presenting my screen.
No, it's just his logo.
Yeah.
That is fucked. What the hell?
Yeah, Mike said that Sweetcast apparently just tweeted about this very thing.
Oh, well, if Sweetcast said so, then shit.
Well, I mean, he does stream all the time, so
Yeah.
Tell me about it. We do have a Mary Sue article. Let's read
oh
that.
god.
This and what Rachel Leishman, guess what she's talking about today?
Is it cats?
Nope. Close.
Is it how much she loves cats?
No, it's how the MCU version of MJ is extremely important.
Yeah, I sent you that one, didn't I?
Yeah, you're responsible. So
It's all your fault.
Yes. So you can suggest to your friends to subscribe to my channel in Anger at Jack.
Yeah, you guys should subscribe to Polly anyway, because this one's all on me.
Let's see. Michelle MJ Jones.
Yeah.
Why did they just go with my suggestion? She should have been Maria Juarez. That's what MJ stands for. Anyway, Michelle MJ Jones was the quiet yet snarky friend. The angry, bitter, bitchy friend who would occasionally insult Peter Parker for no good reason when he was only trying to be nice and open with her, portrayed by Zendaya. There's a really fun moment at the end of the movie when Michelle opens up and tells Peter, Ned, and the rest of their friends that she goes by that stupid whore. I mean, MJ. The iconic nickname of Peter Parker's comic book love, Mary Jane Watson. Yeah. How much you want to bet Rachel Leishman had to look that up on fucking Wikipedia? The trailers for Spider-Man Far From Good have included a wonderful moment when Michelle tells Peter that she knows he's Spider-Man. Later in that same trailer, Peter tries to say he told her, but MJ takes a stand and tells Ned that she's figured it out by herself. Why is this important, you ask? Because almost every other version of Mary Jane, to be fair, Michelle Jones is a different character entirely, is either oblivious to Peter's life or doesn't call him on it. So, what? Anyone?
Anything I say will get us in more trouble.
Well,
So dumb.
Mary Jane Watson in the comic confronted Peter that she knew he was Spider-Man. She figured it out on her own. Rachel Leachman, you're a fake geek.
Yeah.
And you're horrible at it. And you would have known that had you done even a modicum of 5 minutes of research online.
And we are on to you. We know that you're a cat.
See, that's the thing, is that like I love it whenever this sort of thing gets brought up too. I mean, this is the whole gamer girl thing happening a lot all over with Gamergate and shit like that. Is the fact that there are these people sitting there saying like I'm a geek, I know what's up, and then they say something that patently false, and then when people call them on it, like, you're just harassing me. You didn't prove your geek cred.
Yeah.
Even guys have to do that. What the fuck are you talking about?
And it's like, why are women always needing to prove their cred and so forth? Because you're constantly making stupid mistakes like that. And let me tell you something. If a guy had said that, I would have been immediately on it too. No, it was a huge scene. It's very memorable. That's why I remember it, because he was always trying to keep it as a secret from everybody. Whenever a villain might find out his secret identity or whatever, it's always a huge deal. So when Mary Jane approached him, because I know that you're Spider-Man, it was like, dun, dun, dun. So anyway, let's read on what this fake geek girl thinks about this. So why does that make the Marvel Cinematic Universe's MJ important? To be honest, I think it's just because she won't let Peter Parker get away with keeping her in the dark. And maybe that's because there isn't a version of Gwen Stacy in the MCU yet, and Peter doesn't have that fear of telling people.
Oh no.
Before Peter Parker fell in love with MJ in the comics, there was Gwen. Yeah, tell me what Gwen is short for without looking it up, Rachel Leishman, you fucking... Who Peter dated in high school and who knew all about his superhero life. Did she? Yeah. But when his villains discovered Gwen, they went after her, and it eventually led to her death. Villains? Which one? Tell me, you should know. It was an iconic issue. Anyway, so Peter is not wanting to tell the girl he has feelings for that he's Spider-Man. It's pretty justified.
I would actually venture that she probably wouldn't even know who Gwen Stacy was if they didn't put her in the Andrew Garfield movie.
Yeah, I know. Monkey's like, Betty Brant. What about her? I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They never leave the girl with the what would you call it? Flapper haircut. She kind of has a flapper haircut, no?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, they never include her, man. Like that's the only one that's left. We need Gwendy Brant.
No. Oh no. No.
I truly hope we never have to have the fear that the MCU version of Peter Parker, because he has enough pain and suffering in his life, he doesn't deserve to also fear losing the people around him just because he's Spider-Man. That being said, it still makes MJ and her reveal to Peter important. That's a bad sentence. MJ has never been a character who likes to be sidelined. Michael, what are you talking about? Like, what do you have a point here? Okay, in the last paragraph, as with Peter Parker, I've also maybe adopted the MCU MJ as one of my children. Okay, hold on. I'm going to read this real slow. As with Peter Parker, I've also maybe maybe's one word, retard. Jesus Christ.
Okay, wait. Even with that, okay, now read it again, but
okay. But I'll read it as it was intended in her mind.
Yes.
As with Peter Parker, I've also maybe adopted the MCU MJ as one of my children. And to quote Michael Scott from The Office, I can't wait to watch my kids grow up and marry each other. What?
What?
Dude, what?
Rachel, you are retarded. Stop. For the love of all that is holy. Stop.
It was a character in one movie, so for two eventually, but the combined screen time is like 45 minutes. Come on.
Oh God, I wasn't expecting that. I tell you my surprise.
It was good. It was good. It was a good cold read.
Jesus Christ. Whew. All right.
Michael Scott
damn.
didn't say that in The Office, though. So
what is like he adopts one kid and they
no, he likes to adopt people, watch them get married, or something like that. It was basically the same line, just from an idiot on a TV show.
Instead of an idiot writing a blog, I mean article.
Yes.
Yeah, that was. You know what? Good point to bring up, Chris. That just reads like a blog post. How's that an article? It's just my thoughts on MJ, and it's like because she doesn't really need to be told. Like, this belongs on Wattpad. You know what I mean? It's just blathering about a story.
No, see, it belongs in her therapist's notes where she's projecting herself onto a character in a movie.
Well, see, that's the thing. Everything on the Mary Sue is that, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, these are strong, independent women. They don't need us.
That don't need no man.
Oh, that reminds me. Hold on. Let's see. I'm going to run one more experiment. Let's to share the screen. Chat, you go ahead and you tell me if anything comes up. I'm now sharing, so let me know if this comes up. This is another Mary Sue article that I don't really want to read out. It's just evidence of their spectacular level of no self-awareness. Okay. The title of the article is, get this, nobody cares about your exhausting fandom petitions. You know there's fan fiction that exists, right?
And I'm sure you've written plenty, Chelsea Steiner.
Well,
if that is your real name.
Well, yeah. Okay, so nobody can see anything. Fuck. All right. Goddamn you, YouTube. Can I get an F for YouTube? Okay. What I find interesting about this is that it goes another day, another ill-advised fan petition. A new change.org petition to bring Iron Man back to the MCU is making the rounds on the internet. And honestly, we're so tired. The petition is in response to the ending of Endgame, blah, 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 right? Like bring back Tony Stark. Okay. So far, the petition is 17,000 signatures. And please remember that these are fictional characters is a GIF that's playing in the middle of this. Mary Sue, all you do all day long is complain about fictional things in comic books, in movies, in extended television shows like Game of Thrones, as if they're real people, about representation and what the characters are saying and what's problematic and what's sexist and what's homophobic. The character should have said this, the character should have said that. And I will offer back to you your own advice. You know there's fan fiction, right?
Well, see, that's the thing, is that they realize the fact that their fan fiction being on par with My Immortal is not going to gain any traction. So they have to put the righteous indignation out on their blog post. I mean, Mary Sue article, and claim that they're doing something good and people are reading it. The problem is that the same people that read and mock My Immortal are reading your articles, Mary Sue. You are just as garbage as the person that wrote, literally and unironically, Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Get that through your thick fucking skull, Mary Sue.
Let's not forget that fan fiction has been relegated to these obscure little sites because of patriarchy. And that's really what it is. These are failed writers who can't get ahead because they're being held down by the man.
I just realized something horrible, too. You do realize something very important about this, right?
Huh.
My whole diatribe is apropos. Absolutely apropos. Mary Sue, the term Mary Sue, originated from a fan fiction.
Yeah, Star Trek fan fiction.
About
right?
Star Trek, yes. Yeah. But Ensign Mary Sue.
It all circles back. This is clearly Star Trek's fault.
Hey, you leave Trek out of this. I love that there's another little article. It says top stories on the Mary Sue. Even in itself, that's funny. Okay, internet. Carol Danvers wouldn't touch Peter Quill with a 10-foot pole. I guess people are shipping Carol Danvers and Peter Quill online or something like that. No, that's not up to your standards. That's not the way you would have written the film. Fanfic writers who nobody cares about your exhausting fandom petitions. I mean, we're assuming that there's actual multiple people that work for the Mary Sue, that it's not just one or two people with multiple pen names, which I strongly suspect is actually the case.
I actually think that there are like 5 people that work at the Mary Sue. I think
there's Gail Simone and her cats.
I do think that there's like 5 people. The problem is that they're all 5 people are like met in like a knitting class in their fucking local community college or like liberal arts college, and they're all just fucking waxing poetic at the same fucking issues because they're absolutely vapid and have no thoughts outside of the fact that how does this victimize me and women everywhere? Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself and your victim mentality and all of this bullshit that you're heaping on everyone else, and just take a little, tiny introspective look and see that maybe you're the problem. Just a thought.
Speaking of self-awareness, Mike said that he will Spock pinch anyone who talks smack about Neelix. So I'm just going to forego what I was going to say.
Well, it's so exhausting, guys. I've been reading comics and I read them pretty regularly, but for some reason I've gotten into these deep dives into comics lately. Like I'm going to read Daredevil from #1 and I'm up into the 30s right now. I just started 31. And then I dropped off, take an occasional break to read some Elseworld, some Batman Elseworld stories and stuff like that. So I'm reading great stuff right now. And then I come online and talk with you guys about this stuff. And it's like, oh shit. It's like going from a Ferrari to a golf cart,
Hey, I'm a Ferrari, goddammit. I think a more apropos statement would be that you were going from a Ferrari into a brick wall.
Did you hear this story about the man who dressed up as Spider-Man and created a hazardous web trap on a Toronto sidewalk?
No, what?
No.
A man dressed as Spider-Man was causing some trouble on the corner of Spadina Avenue and Queen Street in Toronto. A Twitter post from the Toronto authorities accused a web slinger of throwing a line/rope over streetcar wires, as well as a webbing off part of the sidewalk. An image provided, sorry, Chad, I can't show you, shows the man standing on a fire hydrant while shooting his webs. However, it was discovered that the man dressed as Spider-Man is merely a street performer. In fact, according to some Twitter users, the Toronto Spider-Man has been performing in that area for years.
Wait, he's not even the real Spider-Man?
Oh, they dropped the A. It's according. I'm like, there's no word spelled CCORDING. I'm like, according to some users on
Maybe
Twitter.
That's Canadian spelling.
Canadian spelling.
Well, this is on CBR. Anyway.
Just as bad.
Yeah, it's some guy standing there fucking with people. And apparently this is worth a story. Like, I did web trap. You know what I thought? I thought it was like your classic human trap where it was like webs over a hole that led to the bottom of a spiked pit.
That would be a Burmese tiger trap.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. It's like, yes, walk over my web. You know?
The spider tiger trap.
Burmese kind of concerns me that you know that name. Are there any pits in your backyard there, Quiz?
Well, if someone would stop throwing their wine bottles into my backyard.
Well, I'm checking to see if the ground is solid before I come over the fence. God damn it. So the rumors are getting more and more solid around Robert Pattinson and Bruce Wayne. Entertainment Weekly, although I'm loath to discuss what they say because they're the height of celebrity culture deification, but Robert Pattinson has taken a major step to becoming Warner Brothers' new Caped Crusader. The studio has approved the actor for the role, sources say. Oh, fuck, of course. Though the negotiations are not finalized yet, as previously reported by Deadline. The Twilight franchise star, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. Pattinson is now considered the official pick to take over the role from Ben Affleck, who starred, blah, 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 advertise again. The studio reportedly intends to sign Pattinson to a 3-picture deal. The next Batman film, titled The Batman, is directed by Matt Reeves, War for the Planet of the Apes, and reportedly opens with an origin story.
No! No!
Fuck!
I thought we were done with those.
No, we're never done. They will never abandon that.
Like, we didn't get an origin story for fucking the Nolan trilogy. That's why the Nolan trilogy is awesome.
God damn it.
How many goddamn times do we need to see Thomas and Martha Wayne being shot in Crime Alley?
One more, apparently.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. And by the way, this story was billed on new details of the contract that Pattinson signed. And apparently the whole thing was 3-picture deal. That's it. You clickbaiting motherfuckers. Like, you, goddamn, you bastards. And you wonder why Vox and fucking Vice and everybody else is failing, and fucking what are those fuckers called there? The BuzzFeed.
Monkey said, I like seeing them get killed. I think they were bad people and deserved to die. The capitalist swine.
I think Ranting Monkey needs to change his his cousin Angry Monkey's Twitter name now to Joe Chill. Just saying.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert, Frosted Glass, the Waynes were shot.
Frosted Glass, like, what?
You want to hear a hard burn that Bleeding Cool tried to flip into something like it was a compliment? This is good stuff. For those of you who don't know, the editor-in-chief IEC over at Marvel is a gentleman by the name of CB Cebulski, and he was interviewed on a Swedish program, I believe, and people have made a lot of hay out of that interview that he did because he talks about the process that they go through when they decide if they're going to kill a character, when they're going to do it, how they're going to do it, if they're going to do it as part of an event, and so forth, and how there are some character deaths coming up, especially because they're reviving the entire X-Men thing. And everybody kind of saw that coming. So there's really no reveals or secret information. That's why he did it there. It's not like he was trying to keep it a secret, you know? Anyway, the title of this article over on Bleeding Cool is Marvel Editor-in-Chief wants someone to create a comic book character called Clickbait. Marvel editor-in-chief C.B. Cebulski is taking cues from a friend of his boss by calling on comic book creators to retaliate against the media. Cebulski took to Twitter to deride recent clickbait headlines about his appearance at a Swedish comic book convention, which have originated at comicbook.com and spread to other shameless, click-thirsty websites which shall not, hyperlink, be named hyperlink. Both those hyperlinks go to Bleeding Cool articles in the previous 2 days.
Bleeding Cool, you're awful.
You're awful. You tried to fuck. Cebulski's tweet, this is what it reads. Has anyone created a comic book character called Clickbait yet? There has to be, right? Feels like a good name for a Deadpool villain or a sidekick for Arcade. And it's like he's making fun of you particularly, Bleeding Cool, because you take... How many times have we said that on Comic Book Curation? It's like you guys took a tweet and turned it into a story. There is no story here.
It's an exclusive, Polly.
Yeah, right?
I'd like to point out something else that he said, which Ramen pointed out, that a lot of Marvel characters are supposedly going to be dying permanently. Mm-hmm. I think that's a way for them to bring in new replacement characters. And they're going to stay dead until sales plummet like they did last time. But that's how we ended up with like Girl Thor and Falcon Cap, that sort of thing. I think they're going to try that on a scale again. Probably with more minor league characters, but supposedly they're going to let some people stay dead for longer. I don't believe that it'll be a particularly long time, just till sales drop.
Yeah. And I'll say, how many people thought Superman was going to stay dead with, Death of Superman? Yeah, Everyone did. Everyone thought Superman was gone.
But they're also trying harder to replace a lot of these characters and looking for reasons to do it, especially as like a cash grab now.
Yeah.
Get this. Released just today that I didn't see it. Rich Johnston is trying to justify the rumors that he published about Vertigo from his many sources. Title of the article is Those DC Vertigo Comics Shuttering Rumors the Day After. Yesterday, Bleeding Cool broke the story on new rumors that DC Comics were shuttering their Vertigo brand. We had repeat sources from creators being told that the line was being rolled up. This was happening even as some had received news that the big Vertigo relaunch for the summer was happening. Since then, I have only received repeated confirmation from other parties. A few messages of thanks from those who wanted to be in negotiation with DC were able to ask some questions as a result, and a feeding frenzy from the likes of Boom, IDW, Ahoy, Aftershock Comics, Dynamite, Black Mask, Vault, Dark Horse, Image, Skybound, and more has ensued as a result. Rich Johnston's making waves, yo. One thing that hasn't been impressed upon me is that this isn't solely a sales-based decision, more than in the light of the new Puritanism at DC Comics caused by the Bat Penis episode in Batman Damned. It is considered that A, DC Vertigo is in too much trouble to be worth all of the content issues the books has thrown up, and B, for the last few years, the Vertigo brand has dampened demand for the series rather than having increased anticipation, and C, it's too hard to compete with other publishers for these creator-owned deals. Jesus.
I got a Streamlab here. Thank you, Edabisi. Neelix was a bitch and the world needs to know it. Edabisi said that. I'm just passing the message along, possibly agreeing.
Yeah, he was a bitch. Who said otherwise?
Oh, no one. I'm just pointing out that he's not a space leopard. He's a sea monkey.
No, none of that information was contained within that Streamlabs there.
No, I was expanding on it. Elaborating more.
Well, I think that a leopard, space leopard, is much more likely to be a bitch than a sea monkey. As we've seen in the pictures of the sea monkeys repeatedly, those aren't bitches. I mean, they construct their own castles under the sea and everything. That's not a bitch.
And they have a family too. I mean,
yeah,
they're just squatting in that castle. They don't own it. They're the dirt farmers outside.
Well, they're bold enough to move into a house they don't own. I mean, those ain't bitches. It's the space leopards that are the bitches.
No.
He's got you in the catch-22.
No, he's got me and I don't care enough.
All right, well, here we are, gentlemen, at 103 minutes after starting, and we still can't present images. Why don't we do a, what, as described for the visually impaired version of comic book pitches?
Or,
you
know what?
Or we could do a double pitch episode this weekend and give them 2 comic book curations in 1 week. What do you think?
Well, I could pitch something very interesting with that. I mean,
an audiobook that requires no visuals?
I do. I have, remember, I have the Shadow audio dramas.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I actually do have a comic book for that. I was actually going to suggest if you wanted to, we could end the stream and then start another stream that's just the pitches.
Oh, I don't know, chat. 1 for end the stream and do another one for just the pitches, or 2, save it all for a second comic book curation this weekend. What do you think?
Well, is it gonna, when it processes, is it gonna show what we've been putting up on the screen?
I hope not. I've been looking at hentai the whole time. 1, 2, 1. Our audience is so active.
Ramen, we're only going to count you once.
See, what I'm getting from the people that are hitting 1 is, I don't want to have to hear from you again this weekend. Fuck off. 2, it's looking like, guys.
Yeah, it's looking like a double pitch episode.
Spock pinch. That means something. Okay. It's
Zema Neelix.
53. Okay. That's the, yeah, I think 2's a 1 out.
69. I agree with Hate Camel 42. I mean, that is the answer to life in the universe and everything. So.
Oh, you know what I will just kind of mention real quick. It's what we were talking about before we went live. Gotham by Gaslight, great series, right? Mm-hmm. If I wish it's one of those times that I wish I had some kind of like, PewDiePie level influence or Shillip DeFaco level influence where I could start a hashtag Gaslight Gotham Batman as a series, as an animated run, as something. I don't know anybody who watched the animated show or read the standalone comic that didn't love Batman in that era.
Well, it's funny because that's not the only comic that was written in that era either.
Right. And that's what, I wanted. The Master of the Future is another one that's often paired with it. But
there's also The Mask.
Tell me about that. I don't know about that. Let's hear.
Oh yeah, here, check it out. You should see just the cover. Just the cover will be good enough. It's the sort
show me the cover, but chat don't get to see.
It's like post Elizabethan or post Victorian sort of London here.
Ebony Williams says she saw Gotham by Gaslight. How was the comic? Fantastic. They storyboarded right off of it, but
it's also different because the killer is different in the comic versus the
there's if you've ever read like any book adaptation to the screen, there's a lot of character condensing, a lot of speeding up of events, and characters with a few lines explaining what happened over a full chapter, that kind of stuff. So they're both excellent. Like Gotham by Gaslight's a classic, fantastic read, great art. But yeah, the killer is different.
Yep.
So you get to read a second mystery.
Yes, that's even better, right? It's still Jack the Ripper, but it's a different killer. So, but yeah, there you go. That's what the Mask is. It's really good too because it's written by Mike Grell. He's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, why isn't this an ongoing series?
Right? Say like Gaslight Batman it should be a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. The Gothic era is a great thing, and you can do it over time. Jonah Hex, when he's talking about in that period, is great. Period Batman rocks. Like what?
Yeah.
Come on, Marvel.
I've actually got another one. Here, hold on. It's let me find it. Since chat can't see, I can just fucking Google it.
Ramen Noodle said, I didn't like Batman by Gaslight, Gotham by Gaslight, I guess you meant. But that's too bad. I mean, everyone has their own taste, fair enough. But I guess I can't say I did meet one person who didn't like it then, because everyone else I know has thought, yeah, that was pretty cool. Especially the costume design and all of his steampunk tech from the era, you know?
How about Batman in the Civil War? The blue, the gray, and the bat.
Mm-hmm.
The Sad Boy said Lovecraftian Batman. There was one. We were talking about it before the stream. It was the Doom that came to Gotham.
Yeah, the Doom that came to Gotham. That's a really good one, too. Yeah.
Awesome. So I don't know, gentlemen, why don't we wrap it up there, and we'll pull a Carlos Meza and we'll write a long, emphatic diatribe about being scared of trains. I was saying,
if the whole sea monkey space leopard thing comes up again, I'm gonna go jump in front of that. I'll be right back.
No, we'll write a long series of tweets where we at YouTube in every single one. At YouTube, fix your shit. We're trying to do. No. We had a live stream going on and we couldn't share it with our people. This is so. Yeah. It worked for him,
but
we'll just fit homophobia in there somehow. This is a result of, Quiz is gay, and that doesn't mean you should be holding it against him. And
hey, no, I ain't.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, we will figure it out, and I will tweet something out either tonight or tomorrow on the day we're going to pick. We might just do Sunday again. We got a pretty good viewership when we did it with Scribe last Sunday, but that was probably more that Scribe was there than it was on a Sunday, I would imagine. In any case, in the meantime,
Scribe on it again.
Yeah, drag him along again. He said he'd be down for another one.
Right.
If you haven't already, please hit like on your way out and share it with your friends if you think they might be interested. But we will see you in a few short days. Have a good night, everyone.
Take care.